Betrayal cuts deep, but nothing prepared me for this. I'm Emma Harper, and for a decade, I poured my heart into Harper Builds, our family's construction legacy in Austin, Texas. First in, last out, I gave up love, friends, even my dream of being an architect, for Dad's vow that I'd run this company someday. That vow crumbled one night when I found a hidden document in the office. My parents, James and Clara, had quietly given 75% of Harper Builds to my sister, Sophie, who drifted through Paris for years, barely working 20 hours a week. My pulse pounded as the truth hit. They'd erased my 10 years of sweat and sacrifice. How could they? I'd doubled our revenue, built our name, while Sophie sipped coffee at lunch. Their deception burned, a wound I couldn't ignore. But it sparked something fiercer in me. This wasn't just a business. It was my legacy. I wouldn't walk away. I'd fight for it. That betrayal still stings, a wound I never saw coming. I'm Emma Harper, raised in the heart of Harper Builds, our family's construction legacy in Austin, Texas. As a kid, I'd sit under Dad's desk, drawing blueprints while he sealed deals. By 8, I knew every beam and bolt. My dream was to be an architect, but Dad's golden promise changed that. Emma, you'll lead this company one day. So, I poured my heart and soul into Harper Builds, believing it was my future. I studied business, turned down big city jobs, and worked tirelessly to make our name shine. Meanwhile, my sister Sophie danced through life. She spent her 20s chasing art in Paris, living free while I carried the weight of our legacy. 2 years ago, she breezed back home, and Mom and Dad welcomed her with open arms. They gave her a fancy title, creative director, despite her knowing nothing about construction. Sophie worked half-days, took long lunches, while I burned the midnight oil. Mom called it family unity, but I felt the cracks forming. The way Dad praised Sophie's ideas, the whispers behind closed doors, something wasn't right. I should have seen it. But I trusted them. My family. Those cracks I felt in my family's loyalty? They were just the beginning. For 10 years, I was the heartbeat of Harper Builds, our family's construction empire in Austin, Texas. My life was the office, first in, last out, fueled by Dad's promise that I'd inherit this legacy. I studied business, graduated top of my class, and turned down glossy New York offers to stay. With relentless drive, I doubled our revenue, streamlined operations, and built ties with clients like Grayson Developments, who trusted me with their multi-million-dollar projects. Every contract, every handshake, I knew their kids' names, their anniversaries. I made Harper Builds a name to reckon with, all while Dad kept the CEO title. My sacrifices were endless. 2 relationships crumbled because I chose late-night bids over date nights. I missed my best friend's wedding for a crucial Grayson deal. Friends stopped calling, my apartment was just a place to crash. I didn't mind, I was building my future. Then Sophie returned. After a decade in Paris, my sister waltzed into a cushy creative director role, despite knowing nothing about construction. She worked half-days, took 2-hour lunches, while Mom cheered her every move. Dad called her ideas fresh, praising her while I toiled. I loved Sophie, but the unfairness stung. Family dinners became her stage, her stories dazzling Mom and Dad while I sat, too drained to speak. I should have noticed the signs. Dad's private talks with Sophie, Mom's quick subject changes when I mentioned the company's future. "Don't work so hard, Emma," she'd say, pouring wine. I trusted them, believed Dad's promise that Harper Builds was mine. My dedication would pay off. How wrong I was. One Friday, searching for a Grayson contract in a chaotic filing cabinet, thanks to Sophie's reorganization, I found a folder labeled Ownership Transfer. My stomach dropped. I opened it, expecting old paperwork. Instead, I saw a date from 6 months ago. My eyes scanned the words, heart pounding. 75% of Harper Builds, signed over to Sophie. My name? Nowhere. The knife of betrayal twisted deep. That ownership transfer folder stopped my heart. 6 months ago, my parents, James and Clara, signed away 75% of Harper Builds to my sister, Sophie. My name? Erased from the pages. My decade of sweat, my dreams, my future, gone. I stood frozen in the office, hands trembling as I read the cold legal words. 75% to Sophie Elizabeth Harper. The knife of betrayal twisted deeper. My parents, my own blood, had done this behind my back. Dad's promise that I'd lead Harper Builds? A lie. My world collapsed. I flipped through the document, desperate for some mistake, some explanation. Nothing. Just the stark truth that my family had betrayed me. Then Margaret, our office manager, appeared in the doorway. Her eyes widened at the folder in my hands. "Emma, are you okay?" she asked, voice soft. I could barely speak. "Did you know?" My whisper was raw. She looked away, guilt etched on her face. "Your dad told us not to say anything," she admitted. "He wanted to tell you himself." The humiliation burned worse than the betrayal. Everyone knew, senior staff, colleagues I'd worked beside for years. They'd watched me pour my soul into this company, knowing Sophie owned it. How they must have pitied me, the fool who believed in Dad's promises. I clutched the folder, my voice breaking. "How long, Margaret?" 6 months, she said quietly. 6 months of lies. I shoved the papers back, grabbed my purse, and stumbled past her. "I need to go," I mumbled, leaving my laptop, my reports, my life behind. The drive home was a blur, red lights ignored, my mind replaying every moment Dad called me his successor. "This is yours, Emma," he'd said, smiling. Lies. All lies. At home, I sank onto my couch, the folder still in my hands. My bare apartment stared back, a testament to a life spent at work. What had I done wrong? Was I not enough? Had I failed them? The questions tore at me, each one a fresh wound. 10 years of my life, sacrificed for a company handed to Sophie on a silver platter. The unfairness choked me. But as the night grew darker, a spark of resolve hardened in my chest. If they didn't value me, I wouldn't let them break me. I wouldn't be their workhorse anymore. I'd had enough. Sunday's family dinner was coming. I'd face them. At dinner. I'd face them at dinner. That folder, heavy with betrayal, burned in my purse as I walked into my parents' Austin home. The familiar smell of Mom's cooking filled the air, but it felt like a stranger's house. My resolve steeled with every step. This was it. At the dining table, Dad read project papers, Mom chatted from the kitchen, and Sophie set plates, laughing. Their normalcy mocked my pain. I sat through their small talk, my heart pounding, waiting for the moment. After Mom served dessert, I couldn't hold back. I pulled out the folder and placed it on the table. "When were you going to tell me about this?" My voice was steady, but rage boiled inside. Silence fell like a hammer. Dad's eyes hardened, Mom gasped, Sophie stared at her napkin. "Where did you get that?" Dad asked, voice clipped. "Does it matter?" I shot back. "Were you ever going to tell me Sophie owns 75% of Harper Builds? Or was I supposed to slave away forever, clueless?" Mom reached for me. "Emma, we meant to tell you, but the timing," I yanked my hand away. "The timing? 6 months ago was the time, Mom. Before you signed my future away." Dad leaned forward, his CEO voice on. "This was a strategic move for Harper Builds. Sophie has fresh ideas, a new vision." I laughed, bitter. "Fresh ideas? Like the expansion plan I pitched 3 years ago? The one you called too risky, then handed to Sophie?" His silence confirmed it. My voice rose. "You stole my ideas, gave them to her, and gave her my company. After 10 years of my blood and sweat." Mom's eyes teared up. "We thought you'd understand, Emma. You're so practical. Practical enough to work myself to death for a lie?" I snapped. Sophie finally spoke, her voice small. Emma, I didn't want this. Dad said it was best for everyone. I turned on her. Best for you. You took what I built, Sophie. Don't pretend you didn't know. Dad slammed his hand down. That's enough. Sophie's vision is driving growth. You still have a job. A job? I stood, trembling. I've run this company for years while you played golf, Dad. I'm not your employee. I'm the backbone. Mom pleaded, we're family, Emma. We need you. Family doesn't betray family, I said, voice cold. Sophie owns it? Let her run it. I pulled 3 all-nighters for the Grayson bid. How many hours did you work this week, Sophie? 20? She looked down, ashamed. I know you work harder, she whispered. I admired you. Admired me so much you took my legacy? My voice broke, but I held firm. I'm done. Dad sputtered, you can't quit. The Grayson project starts next week. The Maxwell bid's due Friday. Let Sophie handle it, I said, grabbing my purse. I'm not working for free anymore. Mom's sobs followed me. Emma, please. I paused at the door, looking back at their shocked faces. I'll send my resignation tomorrow. Unlike you, I'll keep it professional. I walked to my car, Sophie's voice calling my name, but I didn't turn back. My hand shook as I gripped the wheel, tears finally falling. 10 years of my life, built on their lies, crumbled in that moment. But as I drove away, a strange liberation washed over me. I'd carried their weight too long. Harper Builds wasn't my identity. I was more than their betrayal. Freedom tasted bitter, but it was mine. I was done. I walked out. Walking out that night left me free, but hollow. I'd built my life around Harper Builds, and without it, I was a shell. Who was I, if not the woman saving the family legacy? Monday morning, my alarm buzzed at 5:30, but for the first time, I silenced it. No office. No deadlines. Just me, staring at a ceiling that offered no answers. I pulled on yoga pants, not my usual suits, and tried to fill the void. Morning walks became my refuge, the quiet of Austin's parks a balm for my wounds. I joined yoga classes, read novels I'd ignored for years, and sipped coffee without rushing. Each step felt foreign, like learning to live again. But the questions lingered, what was I worth without Harper Builds? Had I lost myself to their lies? Then the calls started. Sophie texted first, frantic. Emma, where's the Grayson contract? The client's asking for you. I didn't reply. Dad's voicemails came next, his voice sharp. This isn't a game, Emma. Grayson's threatening to pull their $12 million contract. Call me. I let them pile up, unanswered. They'd taken my legacy, let them handle the mess. My best friend Lily saw the pain I hid. Over lunch, she pushed me to see my worth. You're more than their workhorse, she said. Her words sparked something. I called Tom Reynolds, a mentor who'd tried to recruit me to Coleman Group, our rival. Emma, he said, stunned, your dad's loss is our gain. His offer, operations director, real work-life balance, was tempting. For the first time, I saw a future beyond Harper Builds. My skills, my drive, they weren't tied to one company. I was enough. That realization shifted everything. I started documenting my contributions, every client I'd won, every system I'd built. Not to steal, but to know my value. I drafted my resignation, cold and professional, claiming my 6 weeks of unused vacation. My work phone went silent, tucked in a drawer. Days passed, and the family's panic grew. Sophie's texts begged for help with bids. Mom's voicemails dripped with guilt. We're worried, Emma. This isn't you. I deleted them. Then Grayson's CEO called me directly. Emma, your sister's lost on our project. I need you. I stayed firm. I'm on leave, Mr. Grayson. Sophie's in charge. His pause was heavy. If you go elsewhere, give me a call. Loyalties to people, not companies. His words lit a spark of worth I hadn't felt in years. A week after I walked out, Dad showed up at my door, "Ty Askew," panic in his voice. "Grayson's pulling out. 12 million, Emma. You need to fix this." He was desperate. I wasn't. Dad's desperate plea echoed in my mind, but I stood firm. Days later, my family summoned me to the riverfront in Austin for a reckoning. With unwavering resolve, I walked in, ready to reclaim my worth. They sat waiting, Dad, Mom, Sophie, and our lawyer, Harold. Sophie spoke first, her voice shaky. "I'm sorry, Emma. I never meant to hurt you. I can't run Harper Builds. It's too much." Her admission stunned me. Dad cleared his throat, eyes downcast. "We made a mistake. I downplayed your role, thinking it'd be easier." His words, rare and raw, hit hard. Mom nodded, tears brimming. "We didn't mean to break you." I stayed composed, my demands clear. 35% ownership. COO title. 45-hour work weeks, max. Dad balked, offering 20%. I held my ground. Coleman Group's offer is on the table. I'm not bluffing. Sophie surprised us all. "Take 35% from my share," she said. "I never wanted to be the boss. Let's work together." Her sincerity softened me, just a bit. After tense hours, we agreed I'd get 35%, co-owning with Sophie, who'd focus on creative work. Dad would step back, retiring slowly. Harold drafted the deal, and we signed. As I set down the pen, a weight lifted. I wasn't just reclaiming Harper Builds, I was rewriting my place in it. For years, I'd tied my worth to their approval. Now, I saw my own strength. Sophie and I could be partners, not rivals. Dad's mistake had forced us to face the truth. The shattered trust would take time to mend, but this was a start. My victory felt real, not just for me, but for the future we could build. I'd won. I was enough. My victory at the riverfront wasn't just a contract, it was a new chapter. I returned to Harper Builds as COO, stepping into a bright office that mirrored my reclaimed strength. Sophie and I found our rhythm, her creativity sparking new clients while I streamlined operations. Together, we made the company thrive. Dad eased into retirement, his advice now welcome, not controlling. I threw a company party, honoring every employee's hard work, something Dad never did. But the real change was me. I rebuilt my life, hitting the gym 3 times a week, savoring dates with Ethan, a kind engineer who saw me beyond work. I joined a book club, laughed with friends, even considered adopting a dog. For the first time, work didn't define me. I'd learned hard lessons through the pain. First, know your worth, don't let anyone, even family, diminish it. Second, set boundaries, life's too short to live for work alone. Third, face conflict head-on, truth can spark change. Finally, choose collaboration over competition, Sophie and I proved that. My family's betrayal cut deep, but it pushed me to stand tall. I didn't just take control of Harper Builds, I took control of me. What about you? Have you ever had to fight for your worth? Share your story below. Your voice matters. Hit like, subscribe, and let's talk. Your worth isn't selfish. It's essential.